All right, let me do a quick check-in with The Ones Who Stay and Fight by K Jmsn. The first story in her collection, How Long Till Future Black History Month, which this is a story that slightly put me off because it felt condescending. So I knew I wanted to go back and re-listen to it, and I wanted to re-listen to it after I had also listened to Ursula K. Le Guin's The Ones Who Walk Away from Amelie, which is the story that this is in conversation with. Ursula K. Le Guin's story, written I think in the 50s, I can't remember, is all about a city where it's an idyllic, perfect city. Everyone is happy. Everyone, there's no want, there's no hate, there's no whatever. But it is all based on there being a child locked up in a room who is abused and is kept naked and in suffering at all times. And it's the child's suffering that apparently is the basis of this town's happiness. And it gets the title because some people, a very small minority, see this child, because everyone is taken to see this child, and they walk away, to somewhere else. And that's somewhere that the author, the narrator of the story, can't really tell you what it is, because I think it exits it. You get the sense that it exits what is conceivable for human beings, at least at this point in our development. That there's a sense here that Ursula K. Le Guin is saying that human life at this point is based on, if you're happy, it's based on someone else's suffering. And if we relieve that child's suffering in the story, if you relieve that child's suffering, everyone else would be miserable, and there's a question as to whether this child would actually be much better off. So that's that story. Now this story is about The One Who Stays and Fights, is about a perfect idyllic society, which is the narrator is, I don't know if you can actually understand, and is somewhat condescending in its tone. Like, I don't know if you can understand. It's a place where people aren't discriminated against, that they care about. They care about all people. But maybe this will make it easier for you, is that there is some infiltration, and it's a place where it hasn't always been like this. That at one point it was much like our world, where there was want and eat thing, but they actually recognize that there's just evil in the land, and it had to be exterminated, or had to be squashed. But maybe you can't. Now it turns out that this utopia has a connection with our world, and but it's only information. It's only the stories, the media, all that stuff. But it's infiltrated, and there are social workers in this world, because the pernicious ideas of our world get in and infect people. And it is up to these people that the narrator calls social workers to kill the people who are infected with this. And indeed, they kill this man who has apparently infected his child who says, instead of saying why, like a proper person of this Umhat, I think is the name of the land, ask why you would do that. She says, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you for doing this. It's like, she has also been infected with this. And it's like, oh, you are expecting us to slaughter a child? God, you are such a backward thinking person there. No, of course we're not going to we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that to this child. This child will hopefully become another social worker, killing more people who have the idea. So there's very much, it's interesting. It's a utopia, but it's a utopia built on heavy policing of ideas. And, it makes reference to, this isn't some fat tick of a city grown fat on this and the suffering of a child, where people just simply walk away from it. No, we're asking you, little soldier, again, kind of this kind of condescending tone, to come stay and fight, and fight for the purity of this idea of ideal. And there's, we have to burn everything down. I am at the moment reading A Place of Greater Safety, which is about the French Revolution, and there's definitely very much characters in this, in A Place of Greater Safety, historical characters who are idealists, who have pure ideas. And we know how this story goes and how bloodily it becomes a bloodbath in the name of creating a bloodbath in the name of creating a just society. And you sort of wonder, is this utopia based on blood as well, because they decided who was evil and killed them all? There's a certain kind of chilling, there's a very kind of a chilling factor to this book, where it's like, I support the ideas of diversity. I support that we should not be treating people, on the we shouldn't be treating people differently on the basis of their skin color, of their gender, of their sexuality, of their size, of their shape, all that stuff. But there's a certain kind of a tone where they just said, like, yeah, but we decided certain people were just fucking evil, what the social workers do is they kill the people who bring this evil into their society. And yeah, I mean, it's positing that, like, hey, maybe it isn't natural to be as horrible as human beings are. Whereas, though it's one of these things of, like, well, how do you engineer that, and at what costs do you engineer that? And I mean, the thing is, obviously, our society right now is exacting horrible costs on a shit ton of people. There's a certain there's the amount of suffering and brutality and stuff that is visited on people at the moment. Is this book just saying, like, is this story just saying we should visit that brutality and that suffering on a different thing of people? And am I uncomfortable about the story because I'm a white dude in a super wealthy country? That, is that why I'm uncomfortable? Because, well, if you go by the logic of that story, where I am right now, which I don't know if I'm comfortable. I'm reasonably happy. We're talking about super revolutionary change, and Lord help you if you live in interesting times. I guess it can be exhilarating if you're at the very, very bottom, but it's like, I guess now I'm a 50-year-old guy and I'm thinking, like, I'm not at the very bottom, I'm not at the very top. I mean, probably wealth-wise, even there, I'm probably, obviously there's a hunk of people that are far in my society that are far above. I am somewhere, I would assume, I don't know if the middle or the lower middle or the lower middle. I mean, I actually, well, I own part of a house, which puts me way above a lot of people in my society. So I guess I shouldn't be so dismissive there. But yeah, I mean, it's a good story in that it challenges a lot of that stuff. I think it's the deciding some people are just fucking evil line, and 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 the story addressing you like a child, like you are that child that the social workers are going to recruit and indoctrinate into their particular way of thinking, and reprogram from the evilness that has been in our society. Yeah, I guess we'll leave it there.